This one feels like the most they're trying to check the boxes type movie.
How have you never been in a relationship before? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, because I just got boobs.
I'm gonna put up.
No!
Like, would you recommend it to people? Go out and see this. Like,
oh no!
It kind of answers itself, doesn't it? Hello, welcome back everybody to Swirl Cinema. We're here today to review A24's latest and greatest being
a relative
term, The Death of a Unicorn. 2 out of 5. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh my gosh.
That's a wrap, everybody.
That's it. We're done.
Bye.
Nice to see ya.
Bye. This is going to be an interesting discussion, isn't it?
Yes, I think it will. So, for those of you joining us, we are discussing A24's Death of a Unicorn, which follows father and daughter duo played by Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, and on the way to their ridiculous oligarch-esque retreat, they hit and kill a baby unicorn. And chaos ensues as they realize that the unicorn's blood is essentially a magic cure for anything. And of course, what do rich people do? They want to hoard it for themselves. I feel like let's talk positives first.
Sure.
It'll be a short list for TJ. I did enjoy the kind of magical realism tone of the film. I liked that it was just similar to kind of how I felt about watching the trailer for Wolfman. It was like, we're just normal people. This thing happens. Now we have to deal with this thing, and it's a very closed circuit situation. There's only like 7 or 8 people dealing with this situation. We have Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd. We have the... Hold for cat.
Hold for cats.
Hold for cats, please.
Hold for cats.
Finally.
Can't we get some quiet on the set, please?
My moment in the sun. So, you know what plays with interesting themes about the obligation that we have towards the environment, towards the greater good, that's obviously told through the lens of absurd wealth. I didn't mind just kind of turning my brain off and sitting there for 90 minutes, 2 hours. What was it?
So it's a turn your brain off kind of movie.
I mean,
usually that's kind of for like an action or a Transformers. It's like, you just turn your brain off.
Well, there's a certain level of action and such in it. I mean, it pitches
sure.
itself as a comedy horror, and I do think that one thing that we both can agree on is that it doesn't really commit to either one tonally. It would have been nice if the funny moments had been really funny and the scary moments had been really scary. Instead, it was kind of more very tongue-in-cheeky, like, because it's a unicorn. It's a unicorn attack. After you see the third person get kind of skewered with a unicorn horn through a door, the thrill of like, how are they gonna kill this? How are you gonna die? Gets a little old. What becomes interesting though is how the people interact and how the people relate to this disaster that's happening. Obviously the rich people throw the poor to the wolves and look after their own. So that's an interesting conversation topic, but it touches on, but I think the weakest part of the film is that it touches on so many interesting conversation topics, but doesn't really fully commit to either one decidedly. At the end of the day, you're kind of left with this mishmash of like, that was kind of interesting, and I didn't dislike seeing it. Could have totally streamed it at home. Another thing that I was thinking about as I was getting ready, if you guys noticed, was I didn't believe the casting choices Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd as father and daughter. Maybe
it's kind of a close but no cigar type thing. Where it's like you're kind of there, but
maybe it's just because he's so white and she's so racially ambiguous.
Okay.
That I know that there has to be some like racially ambiguous dead mother in the mix.
Okay.
It just makes it seem like the two of them have no connection outside of like familial obligation,
which is part of their
which is part of it.
But also, like, you want there to culminate. You want it to culminate to the resolution of.
Yeah, we get one moment where it's like at the beginning where you're like, he's resting her head, but it could also be like, are you just accidentally sitting next to each other on the plane? Are you work colleagues? Like, Jenna Ortega is so amalously old right now that she can play like really, really old. She can play like 30 and she can also play like 19.
She's a great actress.
Yeah.
She's very good. I think we first were exposed to her in You, season 2, if I remember correctly. She's great in that, and she's like in Scream, Wednesday. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm sure she's got a roster as far as her acting career.
I'm very. we have to have a whole other conversation about how bummed I am that she's not in the new one.
Figure that out in October.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree. The casting probably could have been more calculated. Like, these are talented people, but they're not the right fit in terms of on-screen chemistry, whether it be the father-daughter relationship or even comedically kind of thing.
I feel like they were mismatched. Everyone else seemed to know exactly what their roles were to be. Will Poulter was having fun. Am I saying her name right? Hold on. Taya Leone, shit. Will Poulter was having fun. Taya Leone was having fun. And Richard E. Grant was like hamming it up. So I feel like, I think that may have been a big misstep.
I think more or less you can watch the trailer and figure out everything that's gonna happen. Like, I didn't feel any major shocks or twists and turns. And not that movies need twists and turns, but it is nice to have some more like, oh, the story's going somewhere, and I don't know if it's gonna go this way or that way. It's just kind of like, we're just kind of like, okay, we're gonna kill these guys off until we get to the end, and then resolution, whatever. So I don't know. If I may, if I may interject.
Please, the floor is all yours, monsieur.
I feel like this movie is A24's, at least in terms of my exposure to A24's catalog, this one feels like the most they're trying to check the boxes type movie. I feel like a lot of other movies are like, we have faith and confidence in this creative mind, and we're gonna back you to make this great project about family or your connection to the universe or some artistic expression. Whereas like this feels like, okay, comedy, horror, we're gonna blend it a little together, we're gonna put the A24 kind of vibe and shtick onto it, and people will buy tickets to see this because it's got a great cast. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like a movie that comes from the heart or mind of somebody that like really wanted to tell this story. It felt much more like something that was designed to be an appealing audience piece. And
that's a really interesting point.
And that's why I think tonally it feels so all over the place. It's like its comedy beats aren't quite landing. I didn't hear a lot of laugh out loud moments. There's like a couple in there. There's a couple chuckles in there. There's a few beats. And then horror wise, you get maybe one or two pretty solid like kills that are, gory and stuff. But, beyond that, it's just kind of like wading in the water tonally too much. And you can just kind of detect that.
Yeah.
We saw it with a couple of friends, and one was pretty bored and underwhelmed by it. The other, like, she likes unicorns,
She's
so
on board.
she was
She's
on
like,
board with it. And it's one of those things where I feel it's hard to say like, no, don't see it. It's a piece of crap. I don't actively hate it, but I just felt very underwhelmed and just like I'm not getting out of it, getting much out of this as far as entertainment's concerned. Like, Will Poulter's fun to watch on screen. It's easy to watch him just goof around. He's Will Poulter. He's great. He's just hilarious and everything. Where Asha and I always quote,
"Don't be rash."
One more step and this weird thing gets it.
Don't be rash.
Well, no. I was going to talk about more Narnia.
Oh my God.
Father, Ed was making faces at you.
Why, you little...
Father's gonna hit me.
Please let me hit him.
No.
Don't you ever knock.
It's my house.
You guys have ever seen Voyage of the Dawn? Wait, is it Caspian?
Not a lot of people have. No, it's the third one, which like
I think it's the third Narnia movie. And
he's a kid in it.
He's just such a shitty little kid. Well, like if you go back in his filmography, like he did like a sketch comedy show in the UK.
He has more of a comedic background than
We Are the Millers is one of the funniest, and it didn't need to be that funny. One of those movies that like is subtly funny.
He knew he was a weird looking guy.
And then he got hot. So now he's hot and funny. I have a theory that either you start your life as a hot person, and as you continue growing up, people are gravitating towards you because you are naturally hot and are an attractive person, and then they realize when they get up close, it's like a Monet. You're like, you don't have a lot else going on. You're just kind of hot and tall, okay? Or you are born funky looking, like us. You rely on your comedy, and when you get hot later in life, people are always like, how have you never been in a relationship before? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, because I just got boobs.
Let me show you my high school photos.
Was a fucking dork.
Answer that question for you. I'm gonna put up photos.
Anyway.
Here's what we looked like back in the day. So you're saying you either die a hero or you live
long enough to see yourself become the villain. Yes, exactly. Dark Knight always relevant. Okay, so my favorite fun little brain teaser to do when we watch a terrible movie. How would you make it better?
Yeah, that's a tricky one for this, because It's as if there's a constellation and they drew a picture, and I have to use the same dots to draw a better picture. And it's like I can try, but it's so locked down in all these awkward positions that I can't really make an image. And I would just say that it just needs to lean harder in one direction or the other. It needs to really just go more like wacky bonkers, like just upscale the hyper reality of it to make the comedy land better, and for like the horror to just kind of contrast that comedy, you know?
I think what would have been cool, so like the unicorns, when they come to take vengeance for their dead child, they're black. The baby unicorn is white. And at first I'm like, oh, do you like get black as you get older? And
That's
then
what I was thinking, yeah.
And then spoiler territory,
because they're evil.
the baby lives.
Mad.
They're mad, so they're heartbroken. They turn black, and then when the baby is revived and their family is united, they turn back into being white. I think it would have been funnier if they were like full on like Lisa Frank, like on pink floaty clouds, like hi-ya, you know, like golden horns, like very beautiful ethereal creatures, instead of being
like
these
sparkles.
Sparkles. And it's like, oh my god, a unicorn. The sparkles are acid, like the horn is poison tipped, you know, instead of inherently being these pure of heart creatures that seek out other people that are pure of heart. That's another spoiler. Jenna Ortega is the only one who's able to calm the beast because she is a pure of heart maiden, which is kind of just like,
well, that's part of
what's
it.
pure of heart? Like I morally am affronted by the murder of endangered creatures. Yeah, then like 90% of the, well no, then like 20% of the people that I know are like pure of heart. It's like, that's a very low bar for pure of heart.
And it's just, I think that just adds to the blandness of it, is that like, her character is just I really think something's up, guys, like the whole time, and just being ignored. And then all the other people are just, I'm a rich jerk and I'm gonna just keep being a rich jerk. And it's like,
she's ringing this bell, and it's like, she's very one note.
Yeah.
Everyone's very one note.
Everyone's
and typically
one note.
doesn't bother me as much if the plot is better.
If it was just more if your note was a funny shtick, then fine, be one note. That can be part of the humor.
Yes.
But it's just too, it just makes itself narrow.
It's why Will Poulter's character works, because even at the end, when he's given a chance to redeem himself,
he's getting worse.
He gets worse.
That's great.
And it's
like,
great.
Cool.
Like he's crushing up the horn and snorting it. He's seeing through time and space. He leaves his mother to die. Like it's
like a character arc in a weird way.
No, it's like to become a worse person, which I kind of love, instead of just being like kind of like Paul Rudd learns to listen to his daughter. That's your character arc?
I respect you now. And A24 has missed in the past. There's this random Chance the Rapper pizza delivery movie where he's a vampire or werewolf or something like that. And I remember watching that with my friends years ago, and no one talks about it because it's just, but it's an A24 movie. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but
I want to watch that.
I was like, that's kind of like not great. But it's also like, I'd rather them keep, taking a swing for the fences as much as possible, and this just didn't feel like a swing for the fences. It felt like a swing, like a bunt,
Okay. I feel like it's fine.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bunt. Like, you hit the ball just enough to run over to first place.
Happy open season, everyone. Opening day. What are we? Happy baseball.
Go team, go sports!
Yeah, you made great points about the casting being off, but I that could have helped it. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like as a script, and that was something I remembered. We always joke around about like how many production companies you start with. What was it? Amelia Perez takes forever to start because you're waiting through logo after logo after logo, and it's like, it's fine. Like, I don't care, if it's a bunch or a little. Like, your movie has to get made by something.
Yes. And
there were 4. There was A24 and then 3 others. I'm not going to list them now, but it was one of those feelings, just as it went on, of just like, what collaborative creative energy needed to go into making this a movie? Like, because making movies is not easy. It's not an easy thing to, make the script, get it approved by a studio, get your casting together, find a director, so on and so forth. And I actually was looking up the title on Google, and a thing came up of like a book called Death of a Unicorn. So this might be based off a book, but it had the cover of the old tapestry. So it might be like an old book about the old mythology of what they're replicating, right?
Like, I feel like recently, given our political climate, given what's happening in the world, I'm not really investing myself into art that doesn't really say anything.
I mean, did Novocaine say something? We gave,
It doesn't have to be Malcolm. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be Malcolm X. It doesn't have to be fucking, these like Selma.
This is like covering the topic of big pharma and oligarchy and like the rich empowering themselves with medical science and taking advantage of people. Like it is creating this big heavy-handed theme of bad, yada yada.
So on the whole, I like when art says something, speaks truth to power, especially right now. If it's going to be entertaining, that's totally fine. But if you're going to specifically touch on, as you just said, big pharma, topics like literally eat the rich, fucking stick the landing. Don't pussyfoot around.
Because there's a lot you can say about these things. Yeah. There's mountains of dichotomy that come with talking about these really big real social issues, whether it be capitalism or power, race, gender. The list goes on, and there's tactful, interesting ways to explore these things, and this one just kind of wants to use it as a set piece to have fun in a playground. It's like
just watch us get the rich get skewered by unicorn horns. Let's do final thoughts.
Oh, sorry, I do want to add one last note.
Please.
I have a very specific qualm with a part of the movie.
Specific qualm?
It goes from nighttime to daytime.
Oh,
very jarringly. And it's really annoying. Gladiator 2 did this shit
I know, you were
to
so
us.
mad.
Oh my God. Like there is, okay, so in Gladiator 2, for anybody that saw this freaking movie, there's a scene where like people are riding outside and it's nighttime and it's this big thing that's going on, political unrest, and inside these powerful beams of light are coming through and like it's like daylight dramatically lighting the inside of like it's the Senate or whatever the hell. And I whispered Asha, it's like, is it day or night? And she just kind of face palmed like, I don't know. And this movie takes place all night long, and then the second Jenna Ortega falls out of a window. It's like the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just this weird moment that maybe something happened in production.
Those moments take you out. Like it's a very small nitpicky thing, and most people are gonna be like whatever. But for people like us who see like so many movies, it's just like don't take me out of the scene. Don't take me out of the situation. I'm now remembering that I'm sitting here watching a movie.
Sure. Yeah, little things like that add up. So anyway, and if it's like if I'm already having kind of a bad time with your movie, that's just compound into me just being like rolling my eyes. But
that's hilarious. If I'm already having a bad time with
because at the end of the day, like production stuff, you can get away with small things like that if you're telling a really good story.
Absolutely.
There's that scene I showed you from The Abyss where the two characters are talking in the water. Did I show you this? No. There's a scene in The Abyss, and this point has gone viral on like Reddit and stuff. But you watch it, and they're like, it's this big panicky moment where they're like floating in water and they're like domed up in this small space and they're gonna die, like they're drowning or something, or the one guy's like, you gotta put this on and go without me or whatever. It's like this really intense dramatic scene, and you watch it and then you cut, and then you get told after the fact, oh, by the way, in the middle of that scene you see a hand with a towel wipe the lens.
Oh, you did tell me about this.
And it's crazy. Like you barely notice it unless someone points it out to you.
Yeah.
And they leave it in the movie because the editor was confident in the storytelling going on. And it's just one of those. Yeah, I think that's just a testament to like, as long as you're telling a really, really good story and audiences are like leaning in, begging to know what happens next, you can get away with little things like that. It's not commonplace, but that is like one of these like interesting exceptions.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so
anyway.
final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I mean, should we just say rating and why kind of thing? Let's go for it. I will happily state I'm landing on a 2 out of 5. It's like, I think some people can get some entertainment out of this. I think, you and our friend had a decent reaction. You were like, hey, I enjoyed it kind of thing. Whereas me and the other friend walked away not enjoying it. So I don't want to, speak ill of something that I think other people could potentially watch and have a nice time watching.
It's our channel. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think if something like Madam Web is so like abundantly bad, but you get these nuggets of entertainment out of it, I give that like a 1. And then something like this, it's just like, you know, it's
Sorry, when did you get the nuggets of entertainment out of Madam Wow?
Did
Did I go to the bathroom? Did I go to the bathroom at this point?
By laughing about it with you.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah, 2 out of 5 for me because it's just one of those things that feels like A24 is acting more like a studio trying to tick boxes and we gotta get the right cast and we make it this way so that because that's hot right now kind of thing, as opposed to no, these directors have a vision and this person has a story and we want to tell it kind of thing. And who knows, maybe this, because it is a writer-director, maybe this person did really want to make this and we're totally misreading it, but you know, tonally and just the execution of it all just felt very underwhelming creatively.
Walking out of the theater, I gave it a 3. Having sat with it and talked about it more, probably a 2.5.
I'd respect that.
For similar reasons. Just the more I've unpacked it and the more I've dissected it, I'm like, that didn't really work.
Like, would you recommend it to people? Go out and see this.
Like, oh no.
Kind of answers itself, doesn't it?
I'd say you can watch it at home.
It's going to be streaming
Wait
on
till
Amazon.
It's on streaming. But don't go to Amazon.
Otherwise, you're supporting the oligarchy, that the movie itself.
And then it's all just...
it all connects.
And then it goes all the way to the top. Okay, so those are our thoughts on Death of a Unicorn. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate all of our support and anybody that stops by to give our channel a little view. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be posting a lot more.
Oh, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, where you can find our reels and more videos. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.